They are doing these deceptive pricing tactics, this theft by deception of the communities that are relying on it because it's the only option that they may have to shop for several miles. It's basically banking on the fact that the people of these communities either don't know how or don't have the monetary ability to fight them. Today we are diving a little bit deeper into Dollar General. As I told you guys in my last Dollar General video, this rabbit hole goes deep, and so I am choosing to do these videos in a series of segments rather than one long drawn out video. So the last video that I did, I will make sure to link it in the video description. I'll probably end up starting an entire playlist for Dollar General if we're being honest, because there's a lot to talk about. The last video we talked about the in-your-face deceptive pricing. Specifically today, I want to talk about Dollar General's evil plot to take over the retail industry and how they plan to do that by exploiting low income and rural communities. Now, from the outside, it might actually look like Dollar General is providing a service to these low income and rural communities by providing a source of food and merchandise where big box stores like Walmart or Target might not want to set up shop. And that is because the mega corporations like Walmart and Target, those lots cost a lot more money. They have a lot more employees. They carry a lot more products. And so therefore, they need to make sure that they are basically breaking ground in areas where they have a lot of customers that can come shop every single day. Dollar General's business model is significantly different. It would appear as though Dollar General more so seeks out areas where there's just a lot of open land, maybe a couple of 2-lane highways, corners of small towns with populations less than 20,000 people. Sometimes if you're driving down highways, you might just see a random Dollar General at the top of an exit, and you might think to yourself, that's a weird place for a Dollar General to be. But really, it's a meticulous plan that Dollar General has, and we are going to get into why they're specifically choosing these areas. So I just mentioned that Dollar Generals tend to go where Walmart, Targets, and other big box stores tend to set up shop, specifically because of the cost to run the business, the order of operations of running those big retail stores. Dollar General does things a lot different. Not only do they set up very prefab manufactured steel buildings, but they also use extremely inexpensive shelving. You'll see a lot of wires as opposed to like the big sturdy shelves that you'll see at a place like Walmart. They also have a very small staff. And with that small staff, they also don't pay a lot in salaries, which that is an entirely different video that I plan to get into. I plan to get into employee experiences at Dollar General, but that's another video for another time. Dollar General also stocks limited items on their shelves, which means that they don't have to hold as much inventory at any given time as their competitors, Walmart and Target. Now, think about this. If Dollar General is strategically setting up shop in rural areas with less than 20,000 people residing, or building stores in low-income neighborhoods or areas with poverty-stricken individuals, riddle me this. How do you think Dollar General has had over 30 consecutive years of consistent growth? Not just in the number of stores popping up every year, but also in revenue. As of right now, there are 4 times more Dollar Generals in the United States than there are Walmarts. So that means that for every 1 Walmart, you will find 4 Dollar Generals across the United States. Now, let's take a look and see exactly why Dollar General is picking these locations and how that critical decision is what drives continuous growth year after year in revenue and grand openings. So this is research and a segment done by More Perfect Union. I will make sure to link it down in the video description below so that you can go give a follow. They have a lot of really good information, not just about Dollar General, but about other things that you might be interested in. So let's listen to the segment that they did on Dollar General and allow it to give us some insight into these grandiose plans that they have for domination of the retail industry.
I've begun to really see Dollar General as like a criminal organization.
You're stealing from my community, and I think they're very aware of it.
It's a classic bait and switch.
Somebody at the top is making a lot of money.
Go for a drive in any American county, and you'll likely soon pass by the yellow and black lettering of a Dollar General. Drive a little further, and another will appear. Then another, then another.
Here's the other Dollar General store. It's 7 miles from the last Dollar General store we were at.
With nearly 20,000 Dollar General stores in 48 states, the Tennessee-based discount chain has sunk its teeth into lower-income, rural and suburban areas everywhere.
It's easy to look at the dollar stores and think they are a sign of economic distress or a symptom of economic distress, but what we found is that they're in fact a cause of it.
I think part of the business model for Dollar General is to look cheap. You might think that Dollar General is in competition with Dollar Tree, but it is absolutely not. Dollar General and Dollar Tree have far different business models. From what I can see anyway, you probably see a lot of similarities, especially now with Dollar Tree having the plus sections and, recently raising their prices again. Like I previously mentioned, Dollar General is setting up shop in rural or poverty-stricken areas as a way to give the illusion that they're helping a community that might need lower cost merchandise. But what we're about ready to find out is that is not their mission at all. As a matter of fact, Dollar General's prices are not as cheap as they want everyone to believe. Just because there's dollar in the name does not make it a dollar store.
Underneath Dollar General's so-called low everyday prices in convenient locations lies a sinister business model and a massive scandal that hardly anybody knows about.
The fact that we have to sue a company to get them to tell the truth is absurd in my mind to begin with.
My name is Lori Hartline. I am a Dollar General shopper out of convenience in my neighborhood. What you see here is when you travel, you'll go from looking for a grocery store, and before you get one, you have $3 General options. And that's all you have.
In May of 2022, Lori Hartline started noticing some seemingly harmless discrepancies while shopping at her local Dollar General.
When they opened up in, I think it was 2021, their price of my kitty litter was $8.95. Great. I purchased it all the time. I didn't pay attention. I go up there, I check out, I leave. Well, one day, wait a minute, $10? I noticed it. I asked him about it. Oh no, they've raised the price. Well, that doesn't say it on the shelf. Well, they just have to change it. It's in the computer. It's not on the shelf. Next week, go in and buy cat litter. Same thing. That is not what the price says on the shelf. What am I doing wrong here? I was watching the news one morning and heard about Dollar General in the state of Ohio was being sued for deceptive pricing. That is what happens to me. I knew I wasn't crazy. I know it's just not me.
So I did also want to add something that I noticed was a common comment in my last video where I was talking about Dollar General's deceptive pricing and the store shelves not matching register and this lawsuit that's going. There was a lot of people in the comments that were saying that it's not necessarily Dollar General purposefully trying to do price deception, but rather the fact that they so grossly understaff and underpay their workers that there's just not enough time to change the labels on the shelves. So again, I do plan to deep dive more into the scandals with being a Dollar General employee employee and how horribly these employees are treated and the poor work conditions that they are forced to endure. But I don't necessarily think that that is the only reason why the prices on the shelves don't match up at the register. I think it goes deeper than that.
After months of repeatedly being overcharged by Dollar General, Lori wrote a letter to the Oklahoma Attorney General.
And within 2 days, I got a response that they forwarded the letter. Great. They responded back, Dollar General did, and they apologized and they said, we'll have a gift card for you. I said, okay, well, let me just ask, how much is it for? $10. Tell her to keep it. I don't want it. It was insulting.
Lori's story was brought to attorney Mark Dan, where it became the basis for one of 3 class action lawsuits in Oklahoma, New York, and New Jersey.
I don't think there's any question that Dollar General is doing this intentionally and systematically.
June 22nd, I was overcharged 4 items out of 11. $7.95 was advertised $6.50.
If you tell me one thing and then charge me something else, in almost every jurisdiction in America, that would be theft by deception. Corporations, as we now know from the U.S. Supreme Court, are people, and people need to follow the law.
So that just goes to say, too, even if it is just innocent in the eyes of Dollar General and there's just not enough staff and there's not enough time to do all of the work with the little staff that they have, that they just, neglect to change the prices on the shelves because there's more important things to do. There's items that need stocked on shelves. There's people that need checked out at the cash register. The idea that the tags on the shelves really aren't that important, it still doesn't make it right. It's still theft by deception. It is. And Dollar General needs to be held accountable, and they are, because there is currently pending lawsuits for it.
Dollar General's deceptive business practices run deeper than most realize, according to Stacy Mitchell, a researcher at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance.
I think what they're looking for is places that have been, that lack, economic and political power, places that they can push around. They're often building in such numbers that it becomes impossible for a new grocery store or other locally owned businesses to develop in a neighborhood that really needs them. They kind of lock in poverty as they grow, because poverty is the thing that really fuels these companies' bottom lines.
Yes, and just like I said, Walmart, Target, they can't go in those areas because they need bigger populations to sustain the overhead costs. Mom and pop shops also don't have the benefit of cheap building materials and lower cost of goods. It's a lot more expensive for mom and pop shops to set up in these areas. But Dollar General's got it down to a science. They can pop up anywhere in a matter of weeks.
So we have the poorest people in the country going to a store that's deceiving them about the price that they're charging for goods. In a situation where they have very few other realistic choices. I think it's about as exploitive a business plan as I've ever seen. Almost every county in America and every state has a system for making sure that people who run cash registers do so honestly.
Price verification is when we see that a product is listed for $2.99, take it up to the register, scan it, make sure it's ringing up as $2.99. We do a random sample of products that we pull. We're used to seeing 1 or 2 failures, getting it corrected, and feeling confident. Unfortunately, in Dollar General's case, it was large and continuous. The scale or the concern was over 80% of the stores that we checked were failing, and failing repetitively. And
80% of the stores that were checked were failing and failing repetitively.
Really no acknowledgement or desire to correct that failure.
Despite being cited repeatedly, Dollar General neglected to correct the problem, prompting the Ohio Attorney General to file litigation against the store.
One unique component in our conversation was the recognition of how Dollar General staffs or short staff were receiving no guidance and were just kind of keeping the place open as best they could, not really necessarily aware of the price verification challenge, their duty and responsibility under Ohio law, and then opportunities to correct it.
If you have designed a business where you are deliberately understaffing your stores, you're deliberately cutting costs.
Yeah, deliberately undercutting staff, not having enough people on staff, because payroll can be a very, very large part of any business's bottom line. And so that's why you won't see more than 1 or 2 people at Dollar General at any given time. But again, we're diving deeper into that soon.
You're going to end up having these kinds of, widespread mistakes in pricing. I mean, that's just the reality of you are not actually providing enough labor to comply with the law and make sure that people are getting charged what the price actually is. They have decided that they can make more profit by violating all of these laws, by understaffing, by cutting corners. And right now, the fines that are associated with doing that are simply a cost of doing business. They are too low to make a difference and to stop this organization from behaving this way.
Dollar General has been fined over $20 million by states and the federal government since 2017. But those fines, which pale in comparison to the amount Dollar General has siphoned from communities, have done little to change the company's behavior.
There are 19,000 stores. There are literally millions of transactions a day, millions of items sold a day in Dollar General stores. And even if at 10% of the time they're stealing 10 cents on 10% of the items that are sold, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars going into the pockets of Dollar General shareholders and out of the pockets of the poorest people in America.
If you're a systematic violator of laws as a company, what's the deeper way that we can go after you? At some point, you've got to be shut down if you can't reform your behavior, because clearly this one-off approach that we're using is not working.
And I think that it's time for Dollar General to pay the price civilly, to pay the customers for what they've stolen from them, to change their business practices for how they go forward in the future. And I don't think it's far-fetched at all to think that the corporate executives who hatched this scheme ought to be prosecuted.
They can build this little metal building in a week, maybe 2 max, and everybody's getting ripped off every day. It's only a quarter here. It's a dime here. It's 35 cents here. Who has the time to go and write a letter and complain over a quarter? Well, I do.
And that's the other part of it too that just really eats at me and gets under my skin is they are doing these deceptive pricing tactics, this theft by deception of the communities that are relying on it because it's the only option that they may have to shop for several miles. It's almost like they not only strategically sought these areas out because people have no other choice but to pay whatever prices they want to charge, but it's also, in my opinion, insulting to the customers that they think that maybe these low-income or rural areas just don't have the will, power, or money to fight them. Just like he said, it shouldn't take a lawsuit. It shouldn't take a court of law for a company to do the right thing. But in Dollar General's case, even with the lawsuit, Dollar General still isn't changing its ways. It's basically banking on the fact that the people of these communities either don't know how or don't have the monetary ability to fight them. It is absolutely like a David and Goliath situation, and it's not right. Make sure that you are subscribed, ring the notification bell. That way you can continue down this rabbit hole with me while we expose all of Dollar General's dirty, dirty laundry. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you leave. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.